Thank you for tuning in to this edition of Just an Opinion. We live in an age where we pretty much can get access to anything in media form that we have as a child. And with revisiting, a common action is to kind of bash what we grew up with, be it television, movies, video games, you get the point. Granted, some things do not hold up. We can do anything by working with each other. And with contemporary theories saying that something is awful, I find myself asking the question, was it really that bad? So today, I'm going to rank my top 10 movies that beg that particular question. Number 10 is Good Burger. Nickelodeon knew they had star power on their hands with Kenan and Kel, so a feature-length movie was inevitable.
Man, who was that? She is all that. All what? Never mind.
It had a paper-thin plot and was cheesy as whiz, but come on, Kenan and Kel are hilarious.
Well, Ed, you better watch your butt, man.
Okay. Look.
If anything, this picture does kind of remind you of how something was precious to you as a kid, be it a hamburger hangout, a video arcade, something like that. Before smartphones, these were the only places that you really could socialize with people your own age and have fun. And I think many of us watching this flick really wish we could have had a summer like this, filled with zany antics, impromptu musical numbers, and of course, lost clowns.
That dog is not talking to you. Wait, hang on. He's trying to tell us that there's 4 clowns stuck somewhere and the car broke down.
Where is that dang dog?
Number 9 is Ernest Goes to Camp. While Jim Varney was regionally famous prior to this film, this release made Ernest P. Worrell a household name. Or a name you'd rather forget. The plot is painfully simple, but the charm is Ernest in all of his scenes.
I knew it was Crutchfield all along.
What summer camp movie doesn't include some completely off-the-wall antics?
Stop it! Stop it! What do you think you're doing?
Also, there is some real creativity amongst the side characters. But Ernest surprisingly does have an endearing touch to this character, which garners your sympathy. Number 8 is The Dirt Bike Kid. Before streaming services, you were limited to the movies that only aired on the channels you had, and that's how I found this flick. Starring Ralphie from A Christmas Story as Jack, it's kind of like a superhero story.
What I'd give for a bike like that.
Oh, that bike is special.
Special?
Oh, yes. But it needs the right rider to make it special.
Except it's the dirt bike that has the special powers.
This is great.
It's corny, but some of the dirt bike scenes are cool. The relationship between Jack and his bike is pretty sweet. It's a believable friendship. Although, there are a few odd scenes that you notice more as an adult than you would as a kid.
You and me, we got a long, long way to go. The first time.
Number 7 is Like Father, Like Son. The 1980s had a plethora of Freaky Friday-inspired body swap movies. While silly in concept, it really was a test for actors as far as range was concerned. At least I think so. This film is long forgotten, especially with the polarizing opinions of its lead, Kirk Cameron. It's mostly fun.
Excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me. Move. Stop that.
Stop that. Stop that.
Excuse me, is that seat taken?
No, we saved it just for you, dude.
Well, thank you.
With, of course, an overkill of the message that parents and children need to listen to each other more. Cameron shines in his uptight portrayal. And it's humorous to watch Dudley Moore attempt to act as a non-distinguished Englishman.
Hold it down a little.
You're drunk. You're drunk.
No, I'm dead.
You're damn right you're dead. Jesus, Chris, look at you. You've been out all night doing God knows what in my body.
Right!
Using my cash, probably boozing it up. And where in the hell did you get the money to pay for an outfit like that?
Number 6 is Sidekicks, a blatant Karate Kid ripoff, but actually not too bad. Bullying and learning self-defense were certainly still relevant at its release.
You gotta watch where you're going, creep. Accidents happen when you don't pay attention.
Let me up!
The heart of this flick is with our protagonist Barry, played by Jonathan Brandis, who we lost too soon. Many can empathize with the struggles he felt, but also that vicarious thrill when he's strong enough to fight back.
We always seem to meet this way. By the way, what'd you say to me?
I said it's not gonna be so easy this time.
The star power of this flick is of course Chuck Norris, but I found Mako, Barry's actual trainer, contributed more to this picture in both serious and comedic fashion.
But you must realize that the greatest weapon you ever possess is self-control.
Hey, you're not wearing a karate gi.
Don't need karate gi for brick breaking.
Number 5 is Dirty Work. I truly feel that this comedy got lost in the shuffle with other smash late 90s hits like Office Space and Half Baked. The plot is lame, but the performances are killer. Norm Macdonald is on fire with his usual deadpan style.
So, how'd the big fight with those fraternity guys turn out?
We kicked their ass. I was punching one guy, and I was kicking this other guy. I threw this one dude right through a plate glass window.
Really?
Yeah, well, sort of, except the exact opposite.
And I think a lot of people forget the minor role that Chris Farley played, this film released after his untimely death.
Looks like there's gonna be a brawl. You playing something good?
Hell yeah! Rolling Stones, street fighting man, G7!
You just hit G8.
If you like pina coladas.
The narrative is a bit more of a collection of hilarious sketches.
Note to self, learn to fight.
Number 4 is Over the Top. This film oddly juxtaposes a story of a man trying to build a relationship with his estranged son, meanwhile working towards winning an arm wrestling championship. Only Sylvester Stallone could pull this off, let alone get you pumped during an arm wrestling tournament montage. I think most fans agree that the son is pretty annoying in this flick.
Grandfather always said you were a loser. Now you're trying to make me one, and I hate you for it.
But you can still get enjoyment focusing on Stallone, our endearing Philistine, just doing the best he can.
Truck is the most important thing for me. I don't really, it doesn't matter if I become the champion or anything.
Number 3 is The Wizard. The criticism of this film is that it's basically a 90-minute commercial advertising Nintendo. Well, yeah. What did you expect? Seriously. What movie aimed at kids doesn't involve some form of product placement pandering? At least here, it's integral to the plot, considering it's about a video game tournament.
That's the magic flute! Use it! It opens the war!
With a healthy dose of suspension of disbelief, you find yourself rooting for these kids, and ignoring the fact that every adult is a complete buffoon. And who doesn't appreciate how serious Lucas took his role as the villain?
I love the Power Glove. It's so bad.
He even had goons! But were they hired goons? Number 2 is Howard the Duck. I remember this being a very silly but still enjoyable movie.
No one laughs at a master of quack fu and
But I had no idea that it was expected to be the next big thing, a product of Marvel Comics, with George Lucas serving as executive producer. It's actually a little sad when cast and crew talk about how their careers suffered after this picture. But I still find it entertaining.
What?
You ordered 3 specials. What's wrong?
This will mean the extinction of all existing life forms.
You haven't even tasted it yet.
What do you think? I'm into cannibalism or something?
I think where comic book adaptations are today, they could totally make a successful rendition of this. On the plus side, hopefully we would lose that creepy love story. But at the same time, the charm of this release is how authentically 80s it is.
Are you ready for an incredible story? Wasted man! Wasted! Oh
no! Number 1 is Airborne. The 80s and 90s released an abundance of sports movies, so why not a feature about rollerblading? And while we're at it, let's put in a smooth-talking live-action version of Aladdin in the lead.
A liquid Drano, wannabe Bullwinkle. I tell you no lie, my friends.
Okay, I've lived in California for 13 years and I have no idea what the heck he's talking about. While I find this picture dopey, it's also charming as well. You have a cast of aspiring young actors, and others that didn't quite move on to bigger and better things.
Let her make up her own mind, Jack!
While cheesy, the courting scenes between Nikki and Mitchell were sweet.
You're so crazy.
You know, you were the first smiling face I've seen in 3 weeks.
Thank you.
And come on now, the rollerblading scenes were pretty cool. Thank you so much for watching, and please leave a comment. I'll be back soon, but this time I'm going to focus on Saved by the Bell, the college years. I hope you check it out.